This guy over here decided he no longer wanted to wear his ring after we've been dealing with it. So if Yandy asked you about your ring, how would you respond? It appears that Yandy may have lost out in her battle to keep her family because of rumors that Mendy is tired of having to call her wife because he's finally back with the love of his life, Karika, and that some people may have already gotten married. It's also undeniable that Yandy's actions have complicated the whole situation. The only thing keeping Yandy in that marriage is her pride, and now that Mindy has moved in with Amy, she has completely lost it. For hurting her feelings, but she's also adamantly telling Erica to leave her man or it will be on sight. Listen, I'm not sure what to say, man. It's been going on for a while, and after all the sacrifices she made while he was in prison, Yandy would finally be able to enjoy her marriage. She was dedicated to making their marriage work and even sought treatment to address issues in their relationship. But as they say, once a cheater, always a cheater. When he was released from prison earlier this year after serving time for drug-related offenses, Yandy did everything she could to keep the family strong, standing firm and navigating it alone with men's support. Because in my opinion, once a cheater, always a cheater. For example, in Washington, D.C., if he gives me too much credit, he will think I'm too arrogant, and I will feel like I don't want to be with him, or I'll leave. I think you're completely wrong, but that isn't true. I could win an award from one of the leading black organizations, so I would never ever say congrats. But it might be like, yo, congrats on that, versus what? I don't even talk like that, first of all. And I never you can't humanize me. What are you talking about? The reason Yandy and Erica have been at odds for years is because Mendeecees have failed to set boundaries with her. In case you missed it, he chose to move on to Yandy's biggest stop, Erica. Instead of showing her the love she deserves for keeping the family together, he totally denied Yandy, saying that this girl was crazy, that this woman was his in the music industry, that this wasn't his woman, and that I had nothing to worry about. She kept coming around and sitting outside in the car, crying in the rain and doing all kinds of crazy things. Samantha claims that Erica was one of the few women in the world that men truly loved. And he showed his love for her by acting as though her marriage was great. But we all know that it isn't because she was with them long before Yandy entered the picture. Erica claimed that she and M had lived together, had matching passports, had taken vacations, and had even met his entire family. She was faithful to him and even helped take care of his first child. Despite knowing that he is still seeing Erica, the lady has been living in denial about the state of her marriage for a long time, and her pride and conceit continue to make her feel as though she is the only woman he is still seeing. Insiders have claimed that after he dumped them when his mother Samantha wasn't around, he left their home and moved in with Erica to continue their relationship. If we're being completely honest, I don't think Yandy deserves the abuse she's receiving from him because she held this man down and fixed everything. Despite his marriage to Yandy, he kept in touch with Erica while they were traveling to Cancun. And he told her that he was married out of duty rather than love without hesitation. He even acknowledged that if their roles had been reversed, she would have had no right to get involved in baby mama drama, endured disrespect from an auntie mother, and worked tirelessly to care for his kids. Held her down or supported the family the way she did for him. But if the roles were reversed, would you hold me down? If the shoes were on the other foot, I don't know what I would be able to do. And that's a problem. So Missy finally admitted that he's not sure if he would have stayed if the roles were reversed. And that's really hurtful because people have said to me, "You're doing all this? Will he do that for you?" I've always complied with her. Yes. Sinfully, indicating that he no longer respected and loved Yandy, if we're being honest. However, some show watchers knew this was coming, and he went to pick up the child since they realized that she was only necessary for him to get his feet on the ground and achieve financial security. He also has a child with Erica, so she will be a part of his life until the child reaches adulthood. I started dating her a month after he was released from prison, and even though Yandy suspected everything, she was living in denial and desperately trying to keep her marriage intact. In exchange, she has been lying to Erica about how her son was little more than a damaged infant and that she was a conduit for money. Erica, however, feels that Yandy is to blame for their breakup. So she takes advantage of the fact that Yandy proposed to her 10 months after I did. Just like everything I've heard about you, it doesn't matter to me. You have to just own up to your current situation and the fact that the man has never claimed you. You've never been anything more than a slut. He has never told anyone that. You are his girlfriend and we have magical passports and the same vacations. Listen, back in 2004, I put cars and apartments in my name for him. Do you still have the same address legally to this day? No, you don't, and you never have. In fact, I do, boo-boo. I knew Yandy was going to be on some bull because she was talking like usual, so I brought my receipt and we traveled the world. Together. According to a source, even though Anne and Erica were still legally married. Yandy realized something was wrong when he started acting distant. She has criticized M. Kai Shad and urged him to stop talking to Erica. But only because he has demonstrated to the world that he has moved on and that his heart is no longer in it. She has also written strong messages to Erica accusing her of BHAF, trying to destroy their marriage by treating her like a baby mother. I won't lie. But I think Yandy should get a divorce because the whole situation is complicated and doesn't even make sense for her. She can either move on from M and the issue with Erica, or she can put in more effort and fight for her marriage. Fans responded to Yan's criticism of M for leaving with Erica by saying that a married man's desire to leave is obvious when he stops wearing his band. So, Yandy should let him go. Do you think Yandy should divorce M and end their relationship? He took her youth, and she was fighting for him like a civil rights activist. Yandy just needs to realize that when a man says and feels that you're to blame for everything, it's time to move on. Please share your thoughts in the space provided below. And then watch the following video to see if you think they can still resolve this unhappy marriage. Yandy stood outside her house staring at her phone as she read the message. Her hands were shaking, and the words which at first glance seemed impossible were repeated over and over again in black and white. The mess had flooded with Erica, and her mind raced back to all the promises she had made to him that they would always be united no matter what life threw at her. After years of raising a family, overcoming countless challenges and sticking by him through thick and thin, he had left her for another woman even during Ime's darkest days when he was involved in legal issues. And now she was dealing with the betrayal of a lifetime. The pain was unbearable, and she had a knot in her stomach that grew tighter with each passing second. She had supported him without hesitation and had faith in their future, but it wasn't enough. She felt a wave of anger and disbelief as she tried to figure out how this all ended with M rushing off to get married when Yandy couldn't control her feelings for Erica, a woman she thought was just a phase in his life. She grabbed her keys, marched to her car, and drove to a neutral location. Her mind was racing with feelings that would overwhelm her, and when she arrived, she noticed that Messi looked remarkably composed despite the seriousness of what he had done. Stood near this car as Yandy got out, feeling the tension in the air and struggling to control her emotions as her heart raced. When the men realized what the hell was going on, she walked up to him and demanded in a furious voice, "Why would you do this to me, to us? How could you just run off with Erica like that?" Her words came out of her mouth like venom, each syllable brimming with the pain of betrayal messages. He stood there with his arms crossed, his face unreadable, and he didn't seem particularly guilty. "Despite the tension, Yandy," she said, "I found someone who understands me and has supported me when you haven't, so I need to move on," he said, in a tone that was cold, and as the argument continued, Yandy's world seemed to fall apart as she processed his words. How could he be so calm and certain of his decision while she was left feeling broken and doubting everything they had created together? Yandy's thoughts drifted to memories of their time together when their relationship was marked by love and hope, when I was her partner and they started a life together from nothing, creating a family and a future. Despite the challenges, they had persevered, remembering the day they found out they were expecting their first child, and the joy it brought. Of course, there had been arguments, but each time they returned stronger. As time passed, things began to change. M's legal problems had caused them to fall apart. But Yandy had been able to protect their family. But even she had her limits. As time passed, M began to distance herself, making it difficult for Yandy to wonder if she had missed the warning signs or if she wasn't aware of how long this had been simmering. As Yen demanded answers, the atmosphere became more intense as Yandy realized that the person she thought she knew had been slipping away, and that her betrayal felt like the final blow to everything they had worked for. M's posture changed, clearly uncomfortable. He had been avoiding the truth for too long. Married to Erica, he acknowledged this in a firm but quiet voice. And Yandy looked at him like a knife in disbelief, unable to understand what he was saying. Yandy's voice cracked as she spoke, the shock and pain overwhelming her. I nodded, not looking into her eyes, but I don't regret it because I couldn't deny what we had. Yandy tried not to cry as her chest tightened, but she had given him everything, her heart, her soul, and her trust, and now she had nothing left but the knowledge that he had married Erica was throwing away as Yandy. And I continued to argue angrily over someone who Yandy had always seen as a threat to their relationship, making her angry. The focus then shifted to Erica's role in the narrative. Despite my suspicions that she had ulterior motives, Erica always gave me her side of the story in interviews and private moments, and she was there for me when I needed her. Erica told her close friend that we clicked on a level I had never experienced before. I gave him the freedom to be himself because he wasn't content with Yandy, and their bond grew stronger over time. Erica also described how she had been a support system for M, especially during his legal battle. Eric felt that marrying M was the right choice because she needed someone who could relate to him. Erica explained that she didn't want to hold him to the past and that she only cared about the fact that she and he loved her. For Yandy, however, knowing that Messi had chosen Erica over her hit was the ultimate betrayal because it meant that a woman who had once been her acquaintance was now taking up residence in the life that Yandy had built with Miseries. Even though Yandy is in excruciating pain, something inside of her realized that she couldn't keep fighting for a relationship that was already over. As she turned away and left the conversation with a painful but necessary finality, she realized that she had been clinging to a past that was no longer there and that it was time to build a future for herself and Erica's relationship. Although Erica had always believed that he was the man of her dreams, she began to wonder if their relationship was going to last. She said in a steady voice, I can't do this for any more minutes. Despite the internal conflict, you've made your decision, and I'm done with him being able to conceal these feelings despite my best efforts. Was founded on the correct foundation after realizing that open wasn't as stable as it seemed and seeing how Yandy had responded. As she watched Mem struggle with his own guilt, Erica started to doubt the legitimacy of their marriage, thinking that he was still emotionally attached to his past and wondering if they were really meant to be together, or if she was just trying to replace what he had lost. After the emotional breakdown, Yandy found strength in herself and focused on her career, kids, and personal recovery after realizing that her worth was independent of others to me, and that she could overcome the heartbreak in the quiet moments of introspection. You need realize that sometimes losing the people we love is necessary to fully discover who we are. It wasn't easy, and the pain would take time to subside, but she was determined to rebuild. Her past would always be a part of her, but he no longer defined her. She was stronger than ever, and her children's dreams and future were her top priorities. It seems hopeless in Chilla when Yandy Smith Harris and her partner M. Harris openly discussed their relationship after many hardships. Perhaps the mood was high when Yandy and M had a heart-to-heart over a video chat. Yandy started off by discussing a conversation she had with her girlfriend, Rashida, Frost, and how her relationship with Kirk reminded her of her own. Rashida told me that she wasn't taking enough care of her own relationship even though she was out here helping everyone else. Yandy explained how it caused KP and Rashida to go through a difficult time. And he said to hit her with the authenticity that they had already reached that dark place and that things had been this way for a moment. If this is how things will be going forward, honey, the tension is high. When Mom talks about how Jan's recent practice of making important decisions without consulting me is the main reason for my lack of emotion. It has been difficult. Horrible things have caused genuine tension, and it's clear that Yandy wasn't expecting them to get to that point. She has infertility issues. And she has been observing how Yandy and Mendeecees' relationship has encountered some significant obstacles, including her tragic decision to donate one of her eggs to her cousin, whom she views as a sister, and her desperate attempt to run for city council. When a producer asked him if commitment was keeping him in the marriage more than love, he said, "I'm chill. Absolutely 1000%. If that wasn't shocking enough, he also acknowledged that there is a lot of tension in addition to a lot of love. This includes the conflict with his mother, the two other women with whom he has children, and M's 4-year drug sentence. She and M have been able to bring their family together. They have 5 children, 2 from their previous relationships, from their current relationship, and one they add up teetering that well-known 2015 wedding special, and were accused of human trafficking. Affection countless, despite the fact that I'm not sure what it is." Yandy and M's relationship has always been a roller coaster with many ups and downs, struggles, and victories. Their story began as an unbreakable love between Yandy and Mendeecees, who had a difficult past. She supported him through it all, raising children, navigating the highs and lows of fame, and even handling Mem's legal troubles. However, as EMS's previous affairs came to light, the relationship started to deteriorate. And their particular relationship with Erica would have unimaginable consequences for their future. Yandy's world fell apart when she discovered that M, the man she had fought for, had secretly proposed to Erica. Engagement. But the thing that affected her the most was the betrayal. When she found out about this affair, it shattered her faith in their closeness. And the revelation hit her like a ton of bricks, leaving her unable to understand how mice could do this to her. Her feelings of betrayal, hurt, and rage swirled, until she had a breakdown and began to doubt her own value. The years she had spent in this relationship had taken a toll on her mentally and physically, as she had always supported him through his darkest moments.